starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Storytime. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. And of course, our apologies for coming in late, but we're here. Another amazing book awaits for us. Thank you for being here with us. And of course, as always, let us know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. Lots and lots to ponder today. Lots and lots to discover, to learn, and to wonder about. Yes, indeed. Beautiful book coming to us from KWAME Alexander, Chris Colderley, Marjory Wentworth, and EKUA HOLMES. And we're reading this one with permission of the publishers, CANDLEWICK Press. Lots to celebrate, lots to enjoy. Out of Wonder, poems celebrating poets. This one, KWAME Alexander, Chris Colderley, Marjory Wentworth, and of course, EKUA HOLMES. Thank you so much for joining in, and welcome to Storytime. Wonderful, wonderful book. So much. We're only going to be reading excerpts from this book. There's so much to celebrate, so much to enjoy, and I cannot wait to share. If you have a copy at home, grab it now so you can read along as we go. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you've had a lovely week. I hope that your weekend is a good one up ahead, and of course, I hope that you rejuvenate, ready to come back for more story time next week. Thank you so much for joining in, and it has been a wonderful week indeed. We've had some amazing books. Of course, we kicked off the week with Take Off Your Brave. Yes, hopefully we're in that space that we can take off our brave. We don't need it. We can take it off and just relax. And then, of course, we moved into The Keeper of Wild Words. And then On the Wings of Words we flew. And then we stopped by the woods. On a snowy evening. It was cold, wasn't it? And then, of course, today we're back with Out of Wonder, and join in for this one. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely love it. Remember, too, that Marietta Apollonia's book is coming out on May 11th, and she will be right here live on Storytime. So excited for that one, and cannot wait. I hope to see you then. And of course, if you miss it, remember you can always catch the recordings too at storytimewithmrlimada.com, at storytimewithmrlimada on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for being here with us. June 3rd, we march on and we'll be at Children's Fairyland for the Children's Book Festival. Amazing creators coming our way. And of course, Storytime will be there too. So come on out and say hi. And of course, if you're not around town, well, let your friends who are in town know that they should come and join us at Children's Fairyland for fun reading and of course book signings and all the lot. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. And today's poem of the day, remember we've been doing poem of the day for the entirety of this week. This one is a special one too, coming from Zita Elliott, and it is from her book, Say Her Name, from 2020, and it is just so powerful. So I'll read this one right now. Black Lives Matter by Zita Elliott, for Alicia, Oppo, and Patrice. And as you may know those names, they're the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement. Like alchemists, you took our shame and turned it into pride. You made rage respectable again and showed us how to move our bodies as one to occupy. The streets where we were slain, beloved Trinity, we heeded your call and followed your lead. Got ourselves information, got ourselves to the polls, to the precincts, and all the places we've never been, wanted, or seen or heard. They will try to pass the mic to the brothers standing behind you, but we know the burden you bear as women, black, immigrant, queer. We will not let them erase you. You are invisible and valuable to us. We humbly thank you, sisters. We humbly thank you, sisters, for coining this affirmation, for sparking this revolution, for building this vital movement, for upholding us with this steady love. And apologies again, too, for the misspelling of pause. It is POLLS, but we have POLES on that one. But yes, that is coming from Zita Elliott. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for joining in this morning. And let us see who is with us today, ready to enjoy this wonderful book that we have lined up. And hopefully we can get to as many poems in there as possible. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Megan, and of course, Ari, and you're saying, have a great day. Well, thank you so much for those positive vibes. Have a great day too. And of course, enjoy the stories that we will read today together, the poems that we're reading here together today. Thank you so much for joining in. Happy Friday to you out there in Kentucky. Thank you indeed for being here with us. Good morning to you. How are you doing, Nathan and Sarah out in cool and calm Illinois? Happy Friday, you say. We're looking forward to enjoying poems about some of our favorite poets. Well, thank you so much for being here. Absolutely love it. And I hope that indeed, I hope that the ones we've picked will be some of the ones that you enjoy. I know they're all great, but I hope that we've picked some of your favorites. Thank you so much for being here, Nathan and Sarah, and of course, Amanda West. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning to you. How are you doing out there in sunny Natchitoches, Louisiana? Thank you so much for being here. And you say, happy Friday, everyone. Braylon, Chad, Auntie Pam, and Auntie Anne, thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. I hope you are ready for this wonderful, wonderful book that we have here today. Thank you so much for joining in, and I hope that you're having a wonderful start to your Friday, a wonderful start to the weekend. Thank you so much for being here with us. Braylon, Chad, Auntie Anne, and of course, Auntie Pam, thank you so much for joining us on Storytime today. Good morning to you. And of course, Megan, yes, love, love, love. Ari, love, 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 love to you as well. Thank you so much for joining in. And look who's in the house, Soraya. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for putting our smiles on our faces yesterday, and I'm pretty sure for many days to come as well. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely appreciate you. Thank you for reciting Langston Hughes for us. And of course, Sharon Lungo, good morning to you as well. I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful morning out here in Oakland. Thank you so much for joining in today. Appreciate you. And of course, the Barbies are here too. How could we forget? Thank you for the reminder, Ari. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. When we come back from this short break, we will be reading Out of Wonder, poems celebrating poets, and we have a few selected that we'll be getting through. And of course, remember, you can find this book at your local library. Ask for it, use it, look at all the different poets in here that are celebrated and get to enjoy, because we won't get to all of them today on Storytime. There are way too many good, awesome poets in here. And of course, Kwame Alexander, Chris Colderley, and Marjory Wentworth just do an amazing job bringing all those poems, like to life, and just adding their own flair to them as well. Thank you for being here. I'll catch you on the other side of this short break when we're back for more story time. Thank you for being here, friends. Absolutely appreciate you. Did you forget something? Go grab your snack. This is your time. We'll be right back. Thank you for being here with us on Story Time.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Davis. I'm a children's book author, illustrator, and high school art educator. I am the author of 30,000 Stitches, the inspiring story of the National 9/11 flag, illustrated by Sally Warren Comport and published with Worthy Kids # book group. One thing that drew me to writing 30,000 Stitches was the idea that people from all different communities came out to stitch this flag and make it whole again. So I hope that when people read 30,000 Stitches, they remember the power of sharing our stories. When people came out to stitch the flag, they shared their stories, whether about loss or pain or love. We all have stories to tell, and by sharing our stories and listening to one another's stories, we can create a better understanding of each other and create a sense of connection and unity. And this is what creates a more inclusive world. I hope you enjoy your story time with Mr. LaMotta. Bye, everybody.
Welcome back indeed. Thank you, Amanda Davis. And of course, congratulations as well on your brand new book that is coming out. And if you know now, well, if you didn't know, now you know. Amanda Davis is coming back to Storytime with a brand new book on June 16th. And that date might change, but we're still, I think it might hold June 16th, June 15th. Holding on to that one. I think Amanda Davis will be here for sure on Storytime celebrating her brand new book. So look out for that as well. Told you, lots of things to come. So here we go. Our book for today, Out of Wonder, Poems Celebrating Poets. This one is written by KWAME Alexander, Chris Colderley, and Marjory Wentworth. And it is illustrated by the amazing EKUA HOLMES. And we're reading this one with permission of the publishers, CANDLEWICK Press. A big thank you to them indeed for allowing us to share so many wonderful books here on Storytime, and always too sending us reminders of different days and weeks and months that we commemorate, and just reminders of books that we could look at for those particular months or particular commemorations. So a big thank you to them indeed, keeping Storytime here on our toes. Thank you so much for joining in. Out of Wonder, Poems Celebrating Poets. Here we go. I just love, like all the end papers to this purple. I wish when you get the book, just look at it. It's just such a heavenly color, if you know what I mean. Out of Wonder, Poems Celebrating Poets, written by KWAME Alexander with Chris Colderley and Marjory Wentworth, and illustrated by EKUA HOLMES, published and read with permission of CANDLEWICK Press. And as you can see, there's a whole list of poems in here and poets to be celebrated, separated into 4 parts, and then a bit about them as well. So we'll try and get to reading a bit about them, maybe 1 or 2 that we might just read about, so we can learn a little bit about them. And hopefully, of course, that then you can dive into reading more about them. So here we go. And then I'll start off with the preface here that is written by KWAME Alexander, but I'll pick it up from the bottom line on the first page. But when you get it, I hope that you can get through and read all of it. But here's what KWAME Alexander has to say from the bottom line of the first page of the preface. Poems are not static objects. They are ever-evolving ideas that speak to us in different ways at different times in our lives. Chad Braylon, does that sound like the definition that you gave? I think so too. I remember reading lots of poetry in 1st and 2nd grades. I could barely contain my excitement when I got a poem and could explain it to someone else. Sometime between then and high school, poetry for the most part vanished from the classroom. What remained was incomprehensible, and that was no fun. Happily, in college, I rediscovered my magic of poetry. I don't want you to have to wait that long. Allow me to introduce you to 20 of my favorite poets who inspired me and my co-authors with their words and their lives. They can do the same for you. Some of the poets we celebrate in this book lived centuries ago and wrote in languages other than English, while others still walk the streets of San Antonio and New York City today. Chris Colderley, Marjory Wentworth, and I had two requirements for the poets we would celebrate in Out of Wonder. First, they had to be interesting people. And second, we had to be passionately in love with their poetry. Mission accomplished. I believe that by reading other poets, we discover our own wonder. For me, poems have always been muses. The poems in this book pay tribute to the poets being celebrated by adopting their style, extending their ideas, and offering gratitude to their wisdom and inspiration. And I'll read that one more time. I believe that by reading other poets, we discover our own wonder. For me, poems have always been muses. The poems in this book pay tribute to the poets being celebrated by adopting their style, extending their ideas, and offering gratitude to their wisdom and inspiration. Enjoy the poems. We hope to use them as stepping stones to wonder, leading you to write, to read the works of the poets celebrated in this book, to seek out more about their lives and their work, or simply read and explore more poetry. At the very least, maybe you can memorize one or two. We wonder how you will wonder. And that is coming from KWAME Alexander. Here we go in our first poem. And this one will be celebrating Naomi Shihab Nye. And this one is How to Write a Poem. How to Write a Poem. And here we go. I hope you can see that. How to Write a Poem. Hush. Grab a pencil, some paper, spunk. Let loose your heart. Raise your voice. What if I have many voices? Let them dance together, twist and turn like best friends in a maze till you find your way to the one true word. Huh? Or two. Yes, indeed. And that one is adapted by KWAME Alexander, celebrating Naomi Shihab Nye. Hush. Grab a pencil, some paper, spunk. Let loose your heart. Raise your voice. What if I have many voices? Well, let them dance together, twist and turn like best friends in a maze, till you find your way to that one true word or two. Oh, we skip on. And as I was reading that, one of my bookmarks dropped out, but fell out of the book. But I hope I can still find that poem. The next one we're going to read is celebrating NIKKI Giovanni, and this one is called Snapshots. People forget poetry is not just words on a page. It is a snowflake on your tongue, a tattoo on the inside of your arm, a daishiki and kaftan tripping down the streets of Lincoln Heights, shouting from the hills of Knoxville, Tennessee. Poetry is barbecue, cotton candy, purple skin beats from Daddy's Garden, blues, the Birdland Jazz Club, Sunday morning gospel, chasing justice, freedom. Poetry is remembering the things that matter, the ones you love, when night comes softly like ripples on a pond. Ah. Did you say read that again? Oh, yes, I will do just that. Snapshots celebrating NIKKI Giovanni. People forget poetry is not just words on a page. It is a snowflake on your tongue, a tattoo on the inside of your arm, a dashiki and kaftan tripping down the streets of Lincoln Heights, shouting from the hills of Knoxville, Tennessee. Poetry is barbecue, cotton candy, purple skin beats from Daddy's Garden, blues, the Birdland Jazz Club, Sunday morning gospel, chasing justice, freedom. Poetry is remembering the things that matter, the ones you love, when night comes softly like ripples on a pond. Oh, I love this. I love this. Here's our next one. I'll let that one sit for a second. Let's go to our next one. This one is celebrating Pablo Neruda, and this one is called The Music of the Earth. The Music of the Earth. Celebrating Pablo Neruda. And this one is adapted by Marjory Wentworth. And here we go. No matter how far I traveled, across glaciers and snow-covered mountains and roads thick with mud, from one corner of the world to another, through years of war and exile and love, I always returned to the green silence of the Chilean forest, where my words linger and accumulate like rocks, blurring in the cold rain. I found a place where the wild sea beat against the back of my country. And I stayed on Isla Negra, watching wave upon wave break below my window, while I sat at a table inscribing the language of water, finding new words for salt and starlight, describing how the wind tastes, writing the struggles of my people. Oh, yes. Celebrating Pablo Neruda, the music of the earth. Here we go, one more time. No matter how far I traveled, across glaciers and snow-covered mountains and roads thick with mud, from one corner of the world to another, through years of war and exile and love, I always returned to the green silence of the Chilean forest, where my words linger and accumulate like rocks, blurring in the cold rain. I found a place where the wild sea beat against the back of my country. And I stayed on Isla Negra, watching wave upon wave break below my window, while I sat at a table inscribing the language of water, finding new words for salt and starlight, describing how the wind tastes, writing the struggles of my people. Ah, yes, indeed. Beautiful, lovely, lovely. I love it. Ah, here we go to our next one. Do we have time? Yes, we do. All right, here we go. I picked one more. Well, two more actually, because I remember two more. Ah, here we go. Hue and Cry. This one is celebrating Gwendolyn Brooks. And this one goes like this. And it is adapted by Kwame Alexander. Bronzeville lady, way past cool, voice like butter, melting blues. She sang low, she swung high, rose with rhyme, hue and cry. Woman black, smile like moon, Bronzeville lady, gone too soon. Hue and Cry, celebrating Gwendolyn Brooks. Bronzeville lady, way past cool, voice like butter, melting blues. She sang low, she swung high, roused with rhyme. Hue and Cry, woman black, smile like moon. Bronzeville lady, gone too soon. Ah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And let's see, there's one more. I know there's another. Well, I actually have two. There's one, an Emily Dickinson one that I just love and wanted to bring back, or at least wanted to celebrate. Here we go. Yes, and still. This one is called A Field of Roses, celebrating Emily Dickinson. And we've had some Emily Dickinson this week already, right? So here we go with this one. A Field of Roses, celebrating Emily Dickinson. I keep an old verse in my room that I keep an old verse in my room that says, believing in roses makes them bloom. I know enough of life's toil to say it also takes rich, fertile soil, lots of good old-fashioned care, and rain to make the roses bloom in air. Here, a beautiful red field grows. I would say the loveliest anyone knows. A Field of Roses, celebrating Emily Dickinson. I keep an old verse in my room that says, believing in roses makes them bloom. I know enough of life's toil to say it also takes rich, fertile soil, lots of good old-fashioned care, and rain to make the roses blossom in air. Here, a beautiful red field grows. I would say the loveliest anyone knows. Oh, just so much wonder in here. So many beautiful, beautiful poems. Let's pick out our last one that we're going to look at, and then we're going to try and read about one or two of the creators that are in here. And just quickly, I know I reserved one. Oh yes, there we go. This was it. The last one we're going to read today, and then we're going to look a little bit about our creators in here. This one is celebrating Maya Angelou, and this one is called Majestic. Rise into the wonder of daybreak. Be a rainbow in the cloud. Be a free bird on the back of the night wind. Shine on, honey, shine on. Walk with joy in your golden feet over crystal seas and purpled mountains. Know your beauty is a thunder, your precious heart unassailable. Be brave like a new seed bursting with extraordinary promise. Shine on, honey. Know you are phenomenal. One more time. Majestic, celebrating Maya Angelou. Rise into the wonder of daybreak. Be a rainbow in the cloud. Be a free bird on the back of the night wind. Shine on, honey. Walk with joy in your golden feet over crystal seas and purple mountains. Know your beauty is a thunder, your precious heart unassailable. Be brave like a new seed bursting with extraordinary promise. Shine on, honey. Know you are phenomenal. Thank you so much for joining in today. And yes, that was the last one that we're going to read. And on the back, too, it gets to tell us a little bit more about the poets being celebrated. So we'll be back after this short break, and we're going to read about one or two of them really quickly, and then, of course, begin to exit. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I hope you enjoyed those poems that we selected. There is many more. That was just the tip of the iceberg. There's many more in here, so much more for you to learn. So I hope that you find time to get that book at your local library. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. I'll catch you on the other side of this short break.
Hi, my name is Zetta Elliott, and I am the author of 40 books for kids, including Dragons in a Bag and A Place Inside of Me. You're watching Storytime with Mr. LaMotta.
Welcome back. Thank you indeed, Zetta Elliott. As you know, she actually is the author of today's poem of the day, and we'll be reading that before we exit. Thank you so much for being here. And there are lots of poems in here, or lots of creators in here, and I just wanted to pick out two really quickly and read about them. Read so you can learn a little bit more about them. But I hope that you can dig in a lot more again into, kind of like we were encouraged by Kwame Alexander at the beginning. I hope you can read more, dive into more of these creators. So here we go. And, you know, some names are more, might be more familiar to you than others, but I hope that even for those names, you still get to dig in and learn a little bit more about them. So I'll start with Langston Hughes, because we had the amazing Soraya recite Langston Hughes yesterday. So I just wanted to remind us of who Langston Hughes is, or indeed, if we did not know that, this encourages us to dig in a little bit more. Langston Hughes, he lived from 1902 to 1967. Born in Joplin, Missouri, Langston Hughes started writing poetry when he was just 13. Hughes was raised by his grandmother. She was the widow of Louis Sheridan Leary, who participated in John Brown's raid on Harper's Ferry, a failed attempt to create an insurrection that would free the slaves in the American South. Hughes attended Columbia University to study engineering, but left after 1 year to work on a ship headed to Europe and pursue his writing. He traveled throughout his life and held many jobs before establishing himself as a writer. His first published poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers, remains one of his most popular. His first collection of poetry, The Weary Blues, was published in 1926, and his first novel, Not Without Laughter, was released in 1930. His poems were deeply influenced by blues, jazz, and African spirituals, often incorporating the sounds and rhythms of these genres. Much of his writing, including the famous poem Mother to Son, also imitates natural speech patterns. This quality gives Hughes' work an intimacy that resonates with readers. As the poet laureate of the Harlem Renaissance, Hughes was a powerful voice for the Black community, bringing attention to the rich culture and achievements of African Americans through his writing, as well as speaking out against racism. Black life in America from the 1920s to the 1960s was his subject, and no one reflected the day-to-day lives of ordinary people, their wars and wonders, the way he could. Hughes had an optimistic vision for the future and an undying hope in humanity that never left him. Incredibly prolific, Hughes published 15 collections of poems, 2 novels, 9 short story collections, opera librettos, autobiographies, essays, plays, radio and television scripts, a number of children's books, and some translations. Lots and lots to cover. So yes, we've read 2 poems this week. There's so much more to cover, and I hope that you find that drive to dig in a lot more into this amazing person that is Langston Hughes. And of course, looking at time, we're going to pause there for today, and hopefully you can find this book where you find books, your local library, elsewhere, and indeed get to dive in and learn more, because there's all the poems that are in here. There's a little write-up as well on all the creators in the back, so we can get to learn about them. As you can see there, Walter Dean Myers, Robert Frost, so many of them, NIKKI Giovanni, all of them you can get to read about and learn some more right there. Out of Wonder, poems celebrating poets. This one is written by KWAME Alexander, Chris Colderley, Marjory Wentworth, and illustrations by EKUA HOLMES. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime today. I hope that we picked up 1 or 2 things, and indeed, I hope that we enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday to you. And remember, too, that we do have lots of things happening, including on May 11th, Marietta Apollonia will be here with us on Storytime. So join in. Don't miss that. She'll be here live with her brand new book, Jack the Library Cat. Ask for it at your local library. Pre-order if you can. And of course, on June 3rd, we'll be at Children's Fairyland for the Children's Book Festival. Lots of amazing creators coming there, and Storytime will be there too. So come and join us. Come have fun with us, of course, if you're able and you're nearby. But tell friends to come and join us. And of course, our poem for the day today is Black Lives Matter. This one by Zetta Elliott. And it goes like this. For Alicia, Opal, and Patrice, the founders, the founding trio of the Black Lives Matter movement. Like alchemists, you took our shame and turned it into pride. You made rage respectable again and showed us how to move our bodies as one to occupy the streets where we are slain. Beloved Trinity, we heeded your call and followed your lead, got ourselves information, got ourselves to the polls, to the precincts, and all the places we've never been wanted, seen, or heard. They will try to pass the mic to the brothers standing behind you, but we know the burden you bear. As women, Black, immigrant, queer, we will not let them erase you. You are invisible and valuable to us. We humbly thank you, sisters, for coining this affirmation, for sparking this revolution, for building this vital movement, for upholding us with this steady love. And that is our poem for the day. Thank you so much for joining in. absolutely appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you indeed, Megan and Ari. Thank you for joining us out there in Kentucky. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining in Storytime. Amanda, West, Nathan and Sarah out there in cool and calm Illinois today. I hope you enjoyed the cool stories that we had for you today. These amazing poems from amazing creators that we had. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope we picked indeed one or two that of your favorites. Thank you so much for being here with us on Storytime. Good morning to you one more time, Pamela Courtney. Thank you for being here with us. Braylon, Chad, Auntie Ann. Thank you for being here with us from out there in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Sunny Natchitoches, Louisiana today. Thank you so much for being here. Hugs to you. Thank you, and have yourselves a wonderful weekend. And yes, I hope that you get a chance to dig into amazing poetry. And of course, I hope that you can find this book at your local library if you don't have it in your collection as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, Soraya. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. I hope you enjoyed the poems that we shared. And indeed, we look forward to many more times together here on Storytime. Have a wonderful day out here in Oakland, Soraya. Wishing you the very best. And of course, the Barbies are here too with Megan and Ari out there in Kentucky. And we love you too. We love you too. We love you. Thank you so much for sharing, Ari. Thank you for being here with us on Storytime. And indeed, all those poems read were absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for being here. To everybody that is joining us for the recordings later on, we send you love. We send you well wishes. We send you all the positive vibes. We hope that you have a wonderful day. And indeed, if it's not going too great, we hope that this is the turn that it begins to just be a good one. Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, we know that, life is full of ups and downs, and we hope that you have more ups than downs for sure. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Hugs to each and every one of you. And I'll miss you this weekend, but I hope to see you again when we're back on Monday for more Storytime. Another amazing lineup awaits, so come join us. Look out over the weekend to see what's coming on Storytime. Find Storytime at your own convenience at storytimewithmrlimada.com, at Storytime with Mr. Limada on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for being here. Much love from me. Bye-bye.
Storytime with Mr. Limada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Limada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Storytime with Mr. Limada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Limada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely. Won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing Storytime with Mr. Limada. He will be starting soon. Oh, Storytime with Mr. Limada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to hear it. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely. Won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to hear it.